let's continue on the product side for a second. I want to just share a couple slides because Emma, you did mention a product, that we have a slide for that we can talk a little bit more about.
Perfect.
Let me just pull up this real quick. Well, let's jump to the Airzone because you talked about the Airzone. So, you mentioned setting it up and having the V. Would you share a little bit more about the Airzone, kind of ways that you've used it and some of the benefits you've seen with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite obvious. What you see is what you get. So in other words, if you want to work on somebody's depth, you can say, increase your swing length or increase your swing path from low to high, or you can say that till you're blue black in the face, or you just put up the airstream and then allow them visually to be able to, especially on the one that you've got there with the actual V's on it. My one's just a rope. I might have to update my my Airzone. So essentially what you're doing there is you're not saying anything. All you're saying is give them a gamification. Like, okay, I'm going to count how many balls. Like I would split the between the service line and the baseline. I usually, like for more of a high performance player, I split that up into 3 zones. So 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, just to work on their depth. I'm also okay if they hit it just past the baseline as well. So I'm really just encouraging them with scoring, with gamification and a visual training aid. And the teaching does, the equipment does the teaching for me. Yet I've still got a tactical game going. I've still got a live ball drill going. As an example, you could have even 6 kids on a court doing that activity, even with a green ball. So we're maximizing the space, we're maximizing the visual, and I love it. You know what also I love doing? Using the on-court, off-court drop-down lines. And I ask children to, like, I've done this a lot with high performance camps back in Australia. And I'd say these girls are around 12 years of age, 12, 13. And I say, can you please put out a target, like create a square and put out a target. They put out targets are literally tiny. Like it's so funny, especially a subtle gender difference. Girls tend to put these targets that are like impossible to hit, right? So, but if all of a sudden you add the Airstream, that's did I say that right? Airstream. Isn't that a car?
But that's a cool. I mean, that's a cool name
Airstream.
too. Airzone, close.
Airzone. Put out the Airzone and then you give them a go at their small target, and then they realize, okay, that's pretty impossible. And tennis doesn't reward perfection; it rewards bravery, as we know. So we make the target bigger with the drop down lines. For example, if we've got 4 on a court, we're hitting cross court with recovery. Please don't hit cross court and leave them standing out there. Make sure they're hitting cross court and they're recovering just off center. Super important to me that we make everything as realistic as possible. And then we count how many balls they get in the target, and we have their partner be their biggest cheerleader when they get it in. Great work. Awesome job. Love the height. Great topspin. Your depth is fantastic. And what do you think happens to the level?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I thought that was very creative how you mentioned with your player that you used, I think the Airzone, there's the original Airzone, which is in the upper left corner, which now comes with a travel Airzone component and the flags and various options. Yep, that's that. And then we have the Easy Airzone, which is not pictured on here, but that's just a slightly different version. So like we've got like the biggest, medium, small, and then the travel Airzone, which is super compact, and what you see on the bottom there. And I thought that was very creative, Emma, how you mentioned earlier how you've done it also where you've dropped it down, looped it through the center strap to create a V. I've actually never heard of anyone doing that, so that's really cool. Like that adds a whole other layer. And then, yeah, for the, pickleball players and coaches watching this, we did just come out with the pickleball Airzone due to popular demand, because we had a lot of pickleball players and coaches using the travel Airzone, which did work. You just had to, make the rope a bit shorter, but we were like, hey, let's come out with one just for pickleball. So that's on the later slide.
You know what else I use it for as it relates to pickleball is actually hitting under the Airzone.
Yeah, absolutely. For like dinks
dinks
and drives and slices, and then for your
returns.
lobs. yeah, for your lobs, you know, you're obviously hitting over, and, you know, for tennis, the same can apply. Like if you're doing slices or drop shots, you want to hit below. So yeah, we talk a lot with the Airzone about it's, you know, creating that visual of hitting over, especially with, you know, the original Airzone where it's literally the net above the net, you know, someone's hitting in the net a lot. Like it's like, oh, okay, the net just got, you know, bigger. But yes, absolutely. Like I personally love that aspect with, you know, the over under, and then now with the flags where they, you know, there's 4 different colors and you can say, okay, aim for this color flag or that color flag. Yeah.
Fantastic. So
Yeah, and that's the new pickleball Airzone.
Yep.